What's good, YouTube? This your boy Money Mitch TV, coming to you straight off the hip. Man, we have some more NBA news. I've been saying this for the past couple weeks. The Carmelo Anthony trade rumors is swirling like crazy. A couple weeks ago I put out a video and I said Carmelo Anthony should go to Boston, and Lord behold, that's one of the teams that Phil Jackson is finally trying to trade Carmelo to. Either that team or the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, last night Phil Jackson tried to shoot his shot to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Cleveland has shut him down. And to me, I feel like Phil Jackson is finally using his head. I don't know why he was trying to trade Carmelo for Kevin Love, which that was pretty much, it wasn't going to make sense. And the reason why it was not going to make sense basketball wise, because LeBron James or Carmelo Anthony is not going to play the 4 position. So it's a lot of egos in that situation. So imagine this, if they would have actually did the trade, you think Carmelo Anthony's going to play the 4, or you think LeBron's going to play the 4? No. And also, neither of them is not going to take a back seat of coming off the bench. So the only way it will have to work lineup wise, Carmelo will have to play the 2, which, you know, he will be okay as a 2, but he'll be one of the slowest 2s on the floor, where there's a lot of 2 guards now that's, you know, fast as a point guard but can shoot the ball like a 2 guard. So yeah. And also, you know, that wouldn't work out. I even mentioned the Los Angeles Clippers, you know, either do a trade for Blake Griffin, Carmelo and Blake Griffin head up, or Carmelo for JJ Redick, Jamal Crawford, and Austin Rivers. I said that before, and that was the trade that Phil Jackson is looking for if he trades Carmelo to the Los Angeles Clippers. And also, that trade would not work out because that would deplete the Clippers' bench and their starting lineup at the same time. So there will be a Western Conference Finals contended team to a regular first round exit team. But the best possible destination for Carmelo is Boston. Look at this. Boston has a lot of draft picks, and they have a lot of draft rights from previous picks from the last draft. Remember, Boston had drafted maybe about, I think it was 6 people last year, and they only stashed 3 of those picks and then brought the other 3 over to the team. So yeah, and also they got a lottery pick that's coming up this year because of previous trades they had with Brooklyn, and they have another first rounder next year. So it looks like if Phil Jackson would do this trade right, he can rebuild the whole roster with those trade picks. All he had to do is just call Danny Ainge and say, hey Danny, I have Carmelo Anthony. I want you to give me Marcus Smart, Kelly Olynyk. I want 3 of your previous draft picks that you stashed away. I want 2017's first round pick and 2018's first round pick. And guess what? That will work out. You'll pretty much will rebuild the team. Marcus Smart will have a fresh start. He'll be the starting shooting guard or point guard for that team. Kelly Olynyk is a good stretch 4, and it will make that team better for New York. And also Boston, it will make Boston an instant contender. You think about the lineup, you will have Isaiah Thomas at the 1, Avery Bradley at the 2, Carmelo at the 3, Al Horford at the 4, and Jared Sellinger at the 5. Or they'll just switch where Jared Sellinger is at the 4 and Al Horford is at the 5. And that will work out just perfectly because you'll have Isaiah Thomas, a scoring point guard that can also distribute the ball. Then you have Avery Bradley, one of the best defensive 2 guards in the league. Then you have Carmelo, Then you have Jaron Sellinger. He's not that good, but he's very serviceable. Then you have Al Horford, a great stretch big man. He can post, he can shoot, he can pass, he can do a lot of stuff. And the bench will still be intact. They will still have James Young. They'll still will have the other pieces they acquired over the course of the years. They will still be a good playoff team, maybe a Eastern Conference contender team. But yeah. Also in other news, LeBron James is the biggest crybaby ever. He really disappoints me. I was reading another article about LeBron James, pretty much just saying that he blames Dan Gilbert for overspending, and that's one of the reasons why the Cavs are struggling. And I watched a couple of their games for the past couple weeks. The Cavs are just lazy on defense, and that's the reason why. It's not really injuries, because J.R. Smith is the only person that's really injured. The team is fully healthy. They're only missing one person, but when they play games, they're lazy on defense. They'll put a good offensive show, but when it comes to defense, they're lazy. They're lackadaisical. LeBron will flop, then he'll cry about it, or he will start pouting and don't play D at all, and he only play D when it matters. So, and that's the reason why they've been losing. Plus, the chemistry is off, and it looks like their locker room is in a shambles because of LeBron keep throwing teammates under the bus. And think about it, without J.R. Smith, they could be on a 10-game winning streak with Kyle Korver. Kyle Korver is like a great pickup, but they're still going through struggles because the reason why, because their defense is lazy. And LeBron, the main person who took a 3-year, $100 million contract where he's getting paid $33.5 million a year, and he complains about Dan Gilbert overspending, and that's the reason why the roster is struggling. And this is the thing I hate about some of these new athletes. They're very selfish because they worry about branding themselves. And think about it, I always notice this. Dwayne Wade left Miami because Pat Riley wouldn't give him over $20 million. So he went to Chicago, took $24 million in Chicago. Now he's miserable. Then you got DeMarcus Cousins, where he's about to make the biggest mistake in his life. Take that $200 million contract, but guess what? I bet you 5 years from now, DeMarcus Cousins is not going to go to the playoffs. If he do, it's going to be a one-time thing, and they're going to get swept in that first round if they go to the playoffs. Carmelo Anthony, look at him. He had a chance to go to Chicago. Although Chicago offered him a 3-year, $70 million deal, which is pretty much almost the same deal he took in New York, but less years, he still turned it down and took a $122 million deal with New York, and then complains about it because the team is not winning because they can't put good players around them. I know capitalism is good, but sometimes capitalism can hurt a team. This is what I always tell people. Tim Duncan is the greatest modern day winner of all time. And here's the reason why. Tim Duncan is very selfless. He had took numerous pay cuts, and from him sacrificing, the Spurs was able to always keep their core players. If you always notice this, the Spurs will always have the same 8 core players they've been having for the last few years. And those 8 players they always use are the core pieces. If you look on their roster, look at the 8 players they always had within the past 5 to 7 years. And the reason why they're able to keep that core together, because Tim Duncan took a pay cut just to win championships. And I know everybody gonna say Kobe won 5, but guess what? Kobe won 3 with Shaq, and Kobe won 2 with Pau Gasol. But at the same time, when the Lakers won those championships, they was way over the salary cap. Although their team was stacked, they was way over the salary cap. But at the same time, it was good for the moment, but it caught up to Kobe at the end of his career. If I was Kobe, I would have took a 2-year, $30 million deal and then tell the Lakers, go get another All-Star and let's make another playoff run. But by Kobe being selfish, he took that $48 million deal for 2 years, and the Lakers have suffered. And back to LeBron James. LeBron James is so selfish, he doesn't see it. And here's the reason why I say LeBron James is selfish. LeBron James makes $50 million outside of basketball a year. So if LeBron James retired now, he will make $50 million outside of basketball. That means when he stepped off the NBA court, he's making $50 million a year off of endorsements and various opportunities that he have, took advantage of. He owns franchises. He's owned houses and different types of property. He owns stock. LeBron has a $1 billion contract with Nike, which that lasts him a lifetime, all the way to he dies. And it comes out to he make $50 million a year outside of basketball, plus his $30 million contract he make in basketball. So now LeBron makes $80 million a year. If I'm making $50 million a year outside of basketball, I would take a pay cut just to win. Now imagine if LeBron would have just took a pay cut, just tell Dan Gilbert, hey Dan, give me a 3-year $70 million deal, 3-year $80 million deal. That would have worked out so perfectly. That would have took $20 million off. Dan Gilbert would have been able to acquire better assets through the free agency, and the Cleveland Cavaliers would not be in this mess. But, who knows? Also, I want to just give a shout out to all the people that have been watching my videos. Keep supporting me, keep watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to my videos. Tell me what you think about these NBA trade rumors. This is your boy Money Mitch TV, and I'm out.